Hi everyone, it's Victor speaking. And today we will be speaking about the Scorpio super new moon. So it's exciting. It's going to be happening on the 4th of November at 9:14 p.m. Universal Central Time. Now, in this video, we will be talking about what the Scorpio new moon means. And then we will be looking at the event chart as well, so we can have a look at the rest of the planetary alignments also. If you are new to my channel, then please subscribe, ring the notification bell. And also, if you like the video, just give us some love and press like. If you wish to learn astrology with me, then check out my subscription plan, the Patreon possibility on my website, AstroViktor.com. And for £39, you will receive 3 webinars a month. Each of them will be about 1.5 to 2 hours long. Now, let's get started. Firstly, I would like to explain to you what a super new moon is actually. So a super new moon or a super moon is a full moon or a new moon that nearly coincides with perigee, the closest that the moon comes to the Earth in its ecliptic orbit. And usually this time around, the new moon or the full moon is a lot bigger. Now, of course, we're talking about new moon when the moon is not necessarily visible. So this is not going to be something you can actually spot on the sky. But the next one, which is going to be in December, that should be very visible. Now, typically there are 2 super full moons and 2 super new moons a year. So looking at, for instance, the super full moons, this year there was one on the 27th of April and on 26th of May as well. Next year we will be having one on 14th of June and 13th of July also. Now, when it comes to the new moons, as I said, they are not necessarily visible, but it doesn't mean that their effect is actually not strong at all. It is very strong. So this year, this will be the very first super new moon, which is going to be taking place on the 4th of November or 5th of November, depending on where you are. And the next one is going to be on the 3rd or the 4th of December, of course, depending on your time zone. So as I mentioned, it's not visible from Earth because it will be pretty dark. So there is no night watching involved there, but check out on December the 4th, actually when the Geminis start becoming active as well. And there is also a total solar eclipse happening on the 4th of December, and that will be very visible from the Antarctica. But we will be speaking about that once we are closer to that time. Now, super full moons or super new moons tend to be affecting the weather conditions significantly. This is one thing I'd like to point out. Now, if you are aware that the moon somehow affects the high and the low tides, and when there is actually a super new moon or full moon happening, these gravitational forces are a lot bigger. Imagine that the moon is a lot closer to Earth. So that's the reason why. And therefore, it's already proven statistically that during super moons, actually these tides tend to be 5 centimeters larger or bigger than at any other new moons. So therefore, we can be expecting rain, we can be expecting a little bit of a colder period of time coming up, or actually we can expect floods also. So think back what was going on, for instance, in April when there were a super full moon happening. Of course, in the Northern Hemisphere, it's spring already, so it might not be possible, but in the Southern Hemisphere, actually it is. Now, this new moon will be happening on 12th degree of Scorpio, which is actually falling into Piscean Decan and Aries Dwat. Now, this is Aries Dwat is actually important for us. The reason being is because Scorpio is ruled by Mars, and Aries is also ruled by Mars. So Mars is playing a very significant role here. Now, overall, this new moon is going to bring you questions. What do you need to overcome? What area of your life you might be struggling, or you might be having some type of secrets which you actually need to let go, in a sense. New moon is always happening when there is a conjunction between the sun and the moon. So it talks about new opportunities. But in order for us to start fresh, we're going to have to release something also. And that's exactly what Scorpio represents. It's like a garbage bin. I'm going to be chucking out the unnecessary things in my life. So have a look at where this new moon is happening, because that's the area of life where you need to be transforming. Do not forget that there is actually 3 planets already in the sign of Scorpio, and very shortly, actually, a few days after the new moon, there will be 4th, because Mercury will be joining this as well. It's probably something you've already known about, but you might be keeping it as a secret. Or you might not have done anything to overcome those type of challenges because you felt vulnerable, or you were just scared to death. Now that Aries dwarf energy actually gives you the power to tackle these issues, to overcome those obstacles, and probably finding a solution for that too. Do not forget that Scorpio is a sign, it's like a Sherlock Holmes sign. So it's walking around with magnifying glasses and checking out, the best possible course of action. Now you get the motivation. Mars is in the sign of Scorpio, so it's very determined. Aries is what gives you the energy to do that. So it's just about action and determination overall. Of course, we're talking about Scorpio, which is one of the fixed signs. So therefore, safety and security is actually very important for them. And therefore, you might be hesitant of what action you should be taking. It might be because you don't trust your own abilities, or secondly, you don't trust others. So I don't know who to share my secrets with. I don't know who I can get involved with. New moon is a conjunction, right? So it does talk about relationship matters, because it's all about me and someone else are joining forces. Conjunction is always a rebirth of minimum 2 planetary energies and become one altogether. So the only way it's going to work if you initiate something with someone else. And of course, as I mentioned, Scorpio is like a Sherlock Holmes. It's an investigative researcher sign. So it wants to be understanding the limitations first. It wants to be understanding the blockages. It's all about a deep dive. What are my uncomfortabilities in my life, which I need to be overcoming? Scorpio always wants to have a deep understanding over the past, and so that they can plan for the future. Now, especially if this new moon is falling into one of your social houses, which are the 3rd, 7th, and the 11th, I would say that definitely you need to get someone else involved, or you need to connect with someone. But generally speaking, it's true for everyone. Scorpio is about healing. It's an alchemist. It's about magic. So maybe the magic you can't create for yourself, someone else actually can help do that. So maybe you want to be connecting a healer, an astrologer, a tarot reader, because Scorpio is overall something to do with esoteric fields, okay? And typically, Scorpio is our deepest secrets. So of course, we don't want to be sharing with anyone. And sometimes it's just good to do that with someone you don't even know. Okay, now imagine with this Aries, what it's like you holding a whip in your hand, and actually you making, all those strikes on the ground so that you create some type of powerful, because you want to be creating a powerful image about yourself with this Scorpio new moon. It's about like marching, and it's a little bit of a protesting as well. And it's a fixed sign. It never gives up, right? So fixed energies are all about continuity. We start a road, we've got the strength for it, and we're going to walk till the very end. Scorpio New Moon is very psychological. It's the shared resources. Now, it doesn't just mean that I'm going to be sharing money with someone, or I'm going to be sharing, for instance, I don't know, my cake with my best friend. This is about whether I share the same values with others, or I am on a different opinion. And now, because this new moon is actually bang on opposing Uranus, probably you're going to realize that you are not on the same page with someone. Of course, whatever Uranus touches, it electrifies it, it creates chaos. So oppositions are all about relationships. So probably you should be expecting some major, significant, even sometimes volatile energies in one of your partnerships. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's in your relationship. It could be any type of financial department, for instance, or maybe the bank is going to call you that you are late with your payment and you're going to have an argument. Because remember, Scorpio and Taurus are very much about financial energies, right? So Taurus is my money and Scorpio is our money. My money and someone else's money put together. So this time around, probably, it's never good to initiate anything around new moon anyway. We always need to wait a minimum of 4 or 5 days when the moon is going to start sextiling the sun, or 9-10 days when it's going to be trining the sun. So what we have got very much highlighted this time around is the financial institutions, mortgages, debt, the banking system. And with the Uranus, we can have a major crash. As I said, Taurus and Scorpio are all about security. So actually it could talk about a cyber attack, or it could talk about that someone is going to try to get into the bank system and then do some type of dodgy things, and so forth. So, but another feature of the Scorpio new moon is, where is your power? Did you give your power away to someone? Because remember, for instance, if you go to the bank to ask for money, actually you give your power to the bank, because typically you might have bought a house. Yes, that's true, but somehow the bank is so powerful that they can take it away at any time. Now, I'm not suggesting this is going to be happening, by the way. I'm just illustrating why Scorpio talks about giving the power away. So the biggest psychological question with this new moon is that what is going on underneath your skin? Scorpio tends to be kind of like an ice queen. And I feel like that Uranus opposition is actually trying to melt the ice off a little bit. But imagine that you've got such a hard, thick ice around you that Uranus is sending these lightning bolts, and it just takes ages. So I kind of feel like actually that this could be talking about melting ice, for instance, in some part of the world, or actually very extreme weather conditions I'm expecting. But on a global level, because Uranus talks about this higher intelligence, the downloadable informations, somehow the divine power. So I feel like some secrets, some very dirty secrets will be coming out with this new moon. Something will come forward to us which we might not have had knowledge about. It's going to be very shocking, in my opinion. Now, looking at what that news can be. So first of all, Uranus is on 12 degree. 12 degree, just a second now. I want to be just precise on that. 12 degree, 47 minutes. So that means that it's already in a Virgo decan. And within Virgo decan, it's a Libra dwat. So what I'm really expecting about this shocking news is that some type of alliance, maybe between countries, which we did not know about. It might be actually a financial agreement we might be talking about here. And we get to know that, I don't know, this country gave that amount of money to another country without people knowing or stuff like that. So I kind of feel like a financial agreement is coming to light. But it's going to be, you know, because Aries dwarfs and Mars is also in Scorpio, I feel like it's something which is going to blow out of the ballpark. But on a personal level, it could also mean something similar to you too. Something might burst out. So typically, we're talking about so many relationship planets. One of the manifestation is that, I don't know, I got to know that my husband is texting with another woman, for instance. So something around secret and relationship matters, which comes up very strongly. So this Uranus opposition, which is in Taurus, well, Uranus has been in the sign of Taurus for a while now. But of course, it gets really active when it's making a connection with other planets. So this time around, it is making with a super new moon. So Uranus shakes things up. It shakes up the financial system, but also it changes to a certain extent what we believe in, what our value systems are, how we actually make money, how we spend money, what ways we investing money, and so forth. So also this super new moon can be affecting the stock market, cryptocurrency, and all those type of digital type of things. Is it gonna be a positive one? Well, with opposition, and I'm going to come on to that, but also the Uranus and Saturn square got revived with this new moon, by the way. I kind of doubt that, okay? So on a personal level, let's just have a look at, you know, who you give money to. Does anyone owe money to you? Because this new moon might be giving you the opportunity to go after your money, but then expect with Uranus some type of clashes. Oh, sorry, I've just spent, I don't know, $1,000. I cannot give the money back to you, okay? Another thing which I might be expecting with this super new moon, that maybe some companies will go busted, or they will make an announcement that, you know what, we run out of cash, we are closing the doors, and so forth. I can actually imagine that too. So on a personal level, I definitely suggest not to lend money to anyone, especially I would say from the 1st of November till the 10th of November, because it might not necessarily be a favorable time for you. Now, you know, and the other thing is that Saturn is sitting on almost 7 degrees. So it is direct now, it's moving back to that square with Uranus. But actually 5 days before, the sun already reactivated this square between them too, because the sun had an exact square with Saturn. So it's going to be very important to look at what is going to be happening at the end of October. I would say from the 27th of October till the 3rd of November, because that might be something you want to be kind of breaking free from. Right? So if you have got any type of issues at work, for instance, with that Sun and Saturn square, then expect that this new moon might bring you opportunity to start actually a new job, or it might give you the desire, you know what, I just want to be writing up my resignation letter. Another thing which I find very interesting, of course, the Sun activated this Saturn-Uranus square, but actually we've got Mars coming up to it also. So Mars is going to be making that Saturn square within a week, right? It's already within orb because Saturn at the moment is, Mars at the moment is sitting on 3, almost 4 degrees, and Saturn is on 7 degrees. So Mars wants to take action, but Saturn actually makes those blockages. So it's kind of like when you are trying to drive the car, pushing the gas to go forward, but then someone else pushing the brakes as well at the same time. So, and then Uranus actually wants to blow up And then what happens is that the engine burns out, and then the car stops, or the brake pedal breaks and stuff like that. So expect something actually huge to come out of this Mars, Saturn, and Uranus combination. And then again, we've got 6 planets in fixed signs. So it doesn't give up, it just pushes, but maybe it does this energy change a little bit slowly. Well, that's not Uranus nature. So that's the reason why Uranus is actually in a fall position in the sign of Taurus. So it doesn't necessarily feel too good. So secret money matters. I think it's going to be a huge topic. I do believe with this Saturn activation, there is going to be some type of restrictions in the world. I'm pretty much expecting that. And another thing which I've actually seen here is that this new moon is in a very tight in conjunction to Black Moon Lilith, which is on 12 degree of Gemini. Now, speaking a little bit about Lilith, because Lilith has got so much of a scorpionic side as well. And why it's very, very interesting is that she is the pair of the moon, but it's tend to be the darker side of the moon. So the moon is something to do with the key to happiness, and Lilith is actually why we are not happy. And typically, Lilith is all about dealing with fears. It's actually a fictitious point in the chart. Lilith is the moon's furthest point from the Earth. It's kind of like a blind spot. It's like an invisible wallpaper. It's like a gateway between the lower and the upper worlds. So how I see this in conjunction is that we've got the people, we've got the government up there, and let's say the people need to do something, the government doesn't have to do it. And that might come out as a secret. This is kind of how I see this new moon in conjunction to Lilith. Lilith is, and also, Uranus is opposing this new moon, which actually very much intensifies the feelings. It's kind of like on drugs. And then we've got the Black Moon Lilith doing the same. And it typically brings crisis situations. She is the asteroid of surgeries and death and injuries. Now, this new moon is actually happening in the world chart in the 5th house. So unfortunately, I'm expecting an entertainer's or someone's death. Someone who is actually important to the world, to be frank. Lilith is something which kind of like leaves this world and then it goes towards the paranormal world. Typically, Lilith shows, by the way, the underdeveloped part of your chart. Now, it's actually in the spirit of Gemini, right? Which is all about knowledge. More all about communication. So definitely some news coming out with this new moon, which is going to be very, very shocking. So this is a very intense new moon again. I also see that the new moon is in a very exact trine to an asteroid called Nessus. Now, we did speak about Nessus before. So if you don't know where your Nessus is, then its number is 7066. So you can actually check that on Astro.com when you're adding the additional objects in the box on the right-hand side. But Nessus is actually associated with abuse. So another stuff I might be expecting with this new moon is kind of like a sexual scandal, how people are actually abusing their power or what they use it for. And it could be verbal, physical, emotional, psychological, spiritual, or even sexual as well. So, and it's all on 12 degrees. So I, again, find it interesting. And let me tell you one more thing, which I find very interesting. Black Moon Lilith is on 12 degree, almost on 13 degree. Now the 13th degree in mutable signs is actually a energetic degree. So kind of like the energetic degrees, from a traditional perspective, it's a bad doer. So it's some type of bad information will be coming out, okay? Now, another thing which I like to point out, that the moon, this new moon, is the beginning of the eclipse season, because the next energy, the full moon, which is going to be happening on 27 degree of Taurus, well, that's going to be an eclipse. And that's going to be the beginning of the 2022, which I'm going to be making a video about in the next 1 week. And I will share plenty of information about it, because there are plenty to share. So with this new moon, it's all about transformation. Work with it. A new moon is all about starting something new. So how are you going to be kind of like breathing fresh new life into your own life, or any projects or opportunities what you have got? Scorpio is a researcher. So you're going to have to dig deep into some of the taboo topics or subjects in your life, or just anything you want to know more about. And actually with all this new information, Lilith in Gemini, so gaining words and vocabulary and knowledge, it might be the one which needed so that you can actually start something fresh in your life. Scorpio rules something to do with the darker side of yourself as well. So it is inviting you to focus on a lot more serious issues rather than just the petty things. And of course, your own little thing is the most important one always. But Scorpio New Moon is telling you to prioritize the problems and see some positive things as well. So watch out, because it's definitely a restless and impatient new moon. It's all about like breaking out. And it's very possible actually that your skin is going to break out. From a medical perspective, it's worth actually be mindful about. I think this new moon is very significant just for relationship matters, especially for lovers. Will that be found out? Is it gonna make or break the relationship? We can be a lot more flirtatious around this time, and actually it can be a full-blown out situation at home. But also with this Taurus and Scorpio energies, it's all about, Scorpio is all about recycling, and Taurus is about food. So no wonder why we are having actually supply issues. And I do believe it's going to get accelerated in the upcoming 3 months. Okay, so maybe it's about that companies are not able to pay the money for delivery and petrol and all those type of things. But on a personal level, it's all about tapping into your own power. What's important for you? By the way, this new moon is in a very tight conjunction to a fixed star called Alphega. Now, Alphega is actually one of the 15th Bohemian fixed stars. And it talks about literature, art, science, artistic talents, trade and commerce, typically. So that's one of the reasons why I believe that a scandal around a star or a death of a star, which might be coming out for us, and it might be actually a little bit shocking. Also, it's very possible that things are gonna come to like forefront when it comes to the electric cars or some innovative techniques like solar panels. Let's not forget a couple of countries, they had issues with electricity, power supply in the last couple of weeks. So it's actually very possible that it might become a situation in more countries. And therefore, maybe countries will decide that they're going to be increasing the prices of electricity, and people actually won't necessarily like that. So on a personal level, this is about self-mastery, self-empowerment. Find ways to do that. Work on addictions and the compulsive behavior. Try to pay off some of your debts, okay? Understanding that things are coming to an end, but that's a new beginning of something. So Scorpio energy is like the death card in the tarot, right? So that is something to do with new beginnings and, of course, a closing chapter in our life as well. This new moon wants you to merge with someone else, with another human being overall, and kind of create an intimate level, but do not lose yourself in the process. It invites you to go as deep as possible and find that personal magnetism within yourself. And also just how you handle your shared resources with your partner, with your ex-partner. Know where the money goes, know how much money you spend, because actually this could be coming up overall. Now, because it happens in the 5th house actually, in this chart, let me just point out that the 5th house rules anything to do with sporting events and gatherings and recreational events. So celebrities, children and schooling. So on a world scale, these departments can be very impacted by this new moon and Uranus opposition. So guys, this is my interpretation on this new moon. I know it's full on, and that's why I wanted to make a little bit of a longer video. So make sure you press like and subscribe to the channel, and see you very shortly with another video. Bye-bye.